You know that feeling, right? That little nagging doubt in the back of your mind about whether someone, a friend, a colleague, maybe even a partner, is actually being real with you. It's tough. Out there, navigating our relationships can sometimes feel like trying to walk through a minefield. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and really unpack the psychology of what makes a connection genuine. So here's what we've got lined up. We'll kick things off with what I'm calling the sincerity puzzle. Then, we'll dive into 3 huge principles for spotting what's real: the alignment principle, how to read unspoken signals, and why you need to look at patterns over time. And we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to tune up your own internal deception detector. All right, let's get into it with the sincerity puzzle. Look, deception, big or small, it's a part of human interaction. But the good news is, psychology actually gives us the tools we need to see through the noise. Which really brings us to the core question, the one that probably got you to click on this in the first place. How can you really tell if someone is being genuine with you? Getting this right can save you a world of hurt, from heartbreak to just wasted anything. Okay, our first big tool is something called the alignment principle. And honestly, it's pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It all boils down to one critical test. Do their words actually line up with what they do? One of the biggest red flags you'll ever see is a concept from psychology called future faking. This is when somebody paints this amazing, beautiful picture of a future with you. They'll promise trips, big plans, major commitments, but they have zero intention of ever making it happen. It's a classic tool for manipulation. And you can see the difference so clearly here. A sincere person makes real, concrete plans. They'll say, hey, let's find a time to catch up next week. And then they actually pull out their phone to schedule it. The future faker? They're all about that vague stuff. We should totally hang out sometime. The words sound nice, right? But the action, it just never comes. And listen, this isn't just about the big, grand promises. Sincerity is really built on a foundation of trust in all the little things. A genuine person will just admit they forgot something. An insincere person, they're going to make up an excuse or tell a little white lie. You have to watch out for these small, constant deceptions. They're a massive warning sign. Okay, here's another term you absolutely need to know. Ingratiation. Put simply, it's flattery with a hidden agenda. It's a whole psychological technique where someone butters you up trying to make you like them, not because they genuinely admire you, but because they want to influence you or get something from you. So how do you even spot this? Well, a genuine compliment feels specific, it feels heartfelt. Like, I was so impressed with how you handled that difficult client. But insincere flattery, that's ingratiation, it's usually way over the top, super vague, and this is the real giveaway, it's often followed by a request. If someone is telling you you're just the best at everything, you might want to ask yourself what they're about to ask for. All right, let's move on to our second principle, reading unspoken signals. This is all about the incredibly powerful messages our bodies are sending out, a lot of the time without us even knowing it. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The real experts, I'm talking behavioral analysts from places like the FBI, they point this stuff out all the time. Nonverbal cues can totally give away when someone is uncomfortable with the truth. Things like crossed arms, constantly fidgeting, or physically turning their body away from you. Those are often signs of some kind of internal conflict or, deception. A perfect example of this is the smile. There's something called the Duchenne smile. See, a fake smile just uses your mouth, but a real, genuine smile, that's a full-face event. It engages the muscles all around your eyes, the ones that create those little crow's feet. So next time, look at their eyes. If the smile doesn't reach them, it might just be a performance. And it's not just about their body language, it's also about how they listen. A sincere person is an active listener. They ask you follow-up questions. They remember details you told them weeks ago. An insincere person, they do what's called performative listening. They're just waiting for their turn to talk, to interrupt, or worse, they use selective hearing to pick out parts of what you said and twist them to their advantage. Now, this is a tricky one. You have to be aware that even empathy can be faked. There's a concept called cognitive empathy, which is the ability to understand someone's emotional state without actually feeling it. Sincere people use this to connect, but manipulators, they are masters of it. They can perfectly mimic concern to figure out your weaknesses and then exploit them. Okay, on to our third and final principle. And this one is all about playing the long game, observing patterns over time. Because at the end of the day, sincerity isn't about one single action. It's about consistent, predictable behavior. A massive red flag for insincerity is a total lack of respect for your personal limits. Manipulative people often engage in something called boundary erosion. It's this slow, subtle process where they repeatedly test and then violate your boundaries, all in an effort to gain control. And this process is so gradual, you might not even notice it at first. It starts small. Maybe they ignore a little request you made. Then maybe they start showing up uninvited or calling you at weird hours. Before you know it, they're guilt-tripping you or getting angry anytime you say no. This is how they slowly chip away at your sense of self. Always remember, sincere people respect your no.
And this all leads to the idea of reliability. A truly sincere person is there for you through the good times and the bad. Their loyalty isn't conditional. The insincere person, on the other hand, well, they tend to vanish the second things get difficult or inconvenient for them. Their behavior is hot and cold. They're only around when it benefits them.
And maybe most importantly of all, you have to learn to trust your gut. Psychologists sometimes call this thin slicing. It's our subconscious brain's incredible ability to make really quick, accurate judgments. Your intuition picks up on all the tiny micro-expressions and inconsistencies that your conscious mind might miss. You have to trust that feeling. If something feels off, it probably is.
So, let's bring this all home. We've just gone through and basically built a powerful psychological toolkit for you, your own personal deception detector. So, to really spot insincerity, you need to look at people's behavior through these three lenses. First, alignment. Do their words match what they actually do? Second, signals. Does their body language and emotional response feel genuine? And third, patterns. Is their behavior consistent and respectful over the long haul?
And that really leaves us with one last powerful thought to chew on. Your intuition is your first line of defense. It is a rapid response system that has evolved over millennia to protect you. So the real question isn't whether you have it. The real question is, are you listening to it?